Just before we start the episode, here's a trailer for another podcast. If you like what you hear, go and check it out.
Hello and welcome to Stolen From Me by Lindsay, a true crime weekly podcast and YouTube channel. I've covered such cases as Molly McLaren, Susan Capper and Gemma Hayter. Each week we take a look at each individual case and try to bring as much awareness to it as possible. You can find me on all your favourite podcast platforms and YouTube at Stolen From Me by Lindsay. Thank you and see you all soon. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Jill.
And this is Crime Divers.
Hello everybody, welcome back.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us once again.
Yay, we're back for another episode.
Yeah.
So what's the title of this one then?
So this one is called The Master Butcher.
Oh God, that sounds
Yeah.
butchery. Is he going to butcher some people?
Well, I'm not giving it away yet.
Okay, well I feel like that's where it's going.
Well, it's a bit yucky.
Oh no, I'm glad I've not eaten or I'm not hungry or...
So, yeah, probably not a good idea to listen to this while you're eating.
Or you're just about to eat.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you've just eaten.
A full belly probably isn't ideal.
No, because you could throw it up.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds disgusting. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But,
it's not nice. The details aren't nice.
Okay, and what wonderful country is this in?
We are in Germany.
Oh, Germany. I don't think we've been to Germany yet, have we?
We haven't been to Germany, and I don't think you'll want to go back.
It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. But before you start, what have we got to tell the listeners today?
What, that we got into the charts?
Yeah.
Again.
I know, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we got into the Irish charts this time, and we got to number
87.
87, which is way better than what we were in the UK and Denmark charts.
So thank you, Ireland.
Yep, thank you very much, Ireland. Of course, thank you to everybody, but
Of course.
special thanks this week
Yes.
goes out to Ireland, so thank you very much.
I
It's
know.
much appreciated.
And we're just hoping that we can get in more often and stay in and be higher and work our way up there.
Yeah, we just need to keep providing content and hopefully people will listen to us.
I know, please keep listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we just dive into this one then?
Yep, let's dive in. Okay. Are you ready?
Well, I'm not sure, but, go for it.
So, as I always say before any cases, I do apologise if I pronounce anything wrong.
Not again.
It's Germany.
Okay, well, you just need to try and...
They have different names to us. Well, right, okay, let's just go.
Yeah,
so, on the morning of the 10th of December 2002, police made a surprise visit to a farmhouse in Rottenburg, Germany.
I'm laughing again.
You're laughing because it's Rottenburg. I don't even know if it is Rottenburg. It could be Rottenburg.
Oh, well, it's rotten.
But it's rotten where this guy is rotten and where he lives is rotten.
So it's kind of fitting.
Yeah. So it could be Rottenburg.
Okay. Well, we'll just call it Rottenburg, right?
So they'd had a tip-off from an Austrian student. He said that he believed the man who lived there had killed and eaten another man.
Oh, God.
And that the man was looking on the internet for more victims. So...
Okay.
The man who lived in the farmhouse was Armin Meiwes. He was born in Essen, West Germany, on the 1st of December 1961. He says that he had a normal childhood. He loved animals and playing with his friends in the countryside. Although his dad was really strict and he tended to ignore Armin most of the time. So to me, that's not a normal childhood to start off with.
Oh, no, not really.
But, so one day his dad said he was leaving and he just got in the car and drove off.
Oh, what? He just never came back?
Yeah, Armin ran after the car screaming for his dad to stop.
Right.
I think, I'm not quite sure how old. I think he was maybe 7 or 8 or something like that. Because you can imagine running after your dad asking him to stop, and he said his dad never even looked back at him, never looked in the mirror at him, just... Nah.
That is a shame.
So
I'll feel sorry for him for that.
Yep. And like he said, that was a very traumatic experience for him, which of course it was.
Of course, yeah.
So his two half-brothers also left home soon afterwards, and he was left with just his mum.
Mm-hmm.
But his mum was really domineering, and she made sure that she went everywhere with Armin.
All right.
Like, even as he got older and started dating girls, his mum insisted on going with him.
Really? What? On his dates?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
later, when he joined the military,
Uh-huh.
his mum would invite herself out, like on nights out, like with the troops. Like, she would invite herself out.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Embarrassing mum alert.
yeah, I mean, to him, he says he had a normal childhood, but to me, that's
not normal.
I didn't have a dad who ignored me and a mum who insisted that she came everywhere with me, so
Exactly.
to me that's not normal.
No.
But everybody's different.
Oh yeah, I know, but no, I personally don't think that's normal.
Well, to him it was.
Oh,
So.
I mean, he obviously knew no difference. So
Yeah,
maybe
well.
he did feel like that was normal. But
Yeah, everybody has different childhoods,
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
that's
they?
true.
Don't they? So
That's
what's
true.
normal for one person isn't norm.
Yeah.
You know,
in
might
our
not be.
opinion, that's not something that our mum.
That's
and
not
dad-
our normal.
No, that's not our normal.
No. But he really wanted a little brother when he was growing up, but he knew his mum was older now, and after 3 failed marriages, she didn't want another relationship.
Right.
So he created Frankie. Frankie was Armin's imaginary little brother, and Armin said that Frankie listened to him, unlike his mum. And at some point between the ages of 8 and 12, Armin developed a desire to have someone who was a part of him,
Right.
which to him meant they had to eat them.
Okay.
So he fantasised about eating his friends and Frankie. I don't know how you can eat an imaginary friend.
Well, that would have been better though.
Well, yeah, that would have been better.
If he just like pretended to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it
so
was still disturbing, but at least it would have been like real.
yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a difference between fantasising about eating your friends and eating your imaginary friends.
God.
So, and as he got older, his fantasies intensified.
Mm-hmm.
But as he later joined the army, but whilst he was there, he barely even thought about his fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
He met a woman called Petra, and they got engaged, but it didn't work out. After 12 years in the army, he left and he moved back home with his mum. His mum had a car accident, and she was still recovering, so Armin became her carer.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, like, he would have barely left the room and she was shouting for him or banging on her crutches to get his attention.
Right.
Like, it was like she wanted something like every 5 minutes.
Right. Okay.
He was her carer for 3 years before she died. So she died in 1999, and after the funeral, he made a shrine for her
Okay.
and even had a mannequin that he would put to bed every night.
Oh God. I mean, having pictures and stuff of your, deceased loved ones. Yep, I get it. But putting a mannequin to bed, I mean, that's
Yes.
not really.
It's different.
It is very different. I mean, that's just.
But it's funny though, because like he did that, but although he did that, he said it was a relief that she died. So
So you think that he wouldn't want to carry on pretending to,
yeah, it just
or to make it look like that's what he was doing because he'd want to move on and get on with his life.
yeah. So it kind of, to me, it's a bit contradictory, that isn't it? Like,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
who knows what was going on in his mind?
No, I mean, grief's a funny thing.
Grief is a very funny thing.
Mhm.
So he did, as I said, he said it was a relief when she died, but because he could do what he wanted now.
Mm-hmm.
But that meant that his fantasies that he hadn't really thought about for years, they resurfaced.
Right, okay.
So he developed an interest in internet porn.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, this is 1999, so this is like,
Oh, yeah, still.
the internet's sort of still quite...
Yeah, I mean, it's not as advanced as it is now, is
Yeah,
it?
but then, this is when you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have had access to internet porn before because we didn't
No.
have the internet, so like,
Well,
this is
that's true.
probably quite a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he obviously discovered internet porn,
Mm-hmm.
and he liked stuff that included torture and pain. So through looking at that kind of porn, he managed to come across some forums. That's a funny word.
Forums.
I didn't realise that was funny to say. For people interested in cannibalism. So in the year 2000, Armin posted an advert on the internet looking for men to slaughter.
Well, I'm assuming he didn't advertise it as that, though.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he had to have a willing victim. He wasn't just going to go and...
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like, why would somebody actually go? Oh yeah, I fancy that.
Well, there's quite a few. So...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Yeah, and then he posted more adverts saying that he would like to eat someone with delicious flesh.
And actually somebody would say yes.
And he did actually get a few responses.
That's why?
Everybody's different.
I know, but why would you want somebody to eat you, like willingly eat you? That just...
Do you want to hear about these people?
I don't know. But you're going to tell me.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell you about a few that responded to him.
Oh God, okay.
So the first one was a man called Borg Jose. He came to meet Armin and he agreed to what Armin said he wanted to do to him. So Borg took his clothes off and he laid on a table for preparation.
Okay.
So Armin covered Borg in oil and started to mark him out for butchery. So he was like attaching labels to him, like with pins, such as like loin and steak.
Seriously.
But then Borg said he didn't feel very well, so I think he probably got cold feet. And I asked to be let go, so Armin let him go. Because, as I said, Armin had always said it had to be a willing victim,
right,
so
okay.
he never kept anybody against their will.
Right, okay.
You know, because that makes it better.
Well, yeah, but seriously. That's just...
So another man got in contact with Armin. His name was Matteo.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Armin to burn his testicles.
What?
I shouldn't be laughing because... You know, everybody's different. As I said,
you want to inflict? I mean, I have no idea what that pain would feel like, obviously, because I don't have testicles, but...
Well, getting anything burnt would be...
why would you want to inflict that pain on yourself?
Well, he wanted...
Well, let somebody else inflict it on you.
I don't know. He wanted Armin to burn his testicles with a blowtorch before nailing him to the floor and whipping him to death. Funnily enough, Armin wasn't up for that. he said he found Matteo a bit weird.
Really? He found him weird?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So then the next man who got in touch, this other man told Armin that he would get him a young boy to eat. But then later said he couldn't get the boy after all because he was going to be eaten at a Russian Orthodox feast. And I thought,
what?
Like a Russian Orthodox feast, that's surely a religious thing, like Orthodox, that's a religious thing,
Yeah.
like church and all the rest of it.
Uh-huh.
Since when do religious people eat little boys?
Well, yeah, that's news to me.
Yeah, that's news to me as well. So he didn't get the little boy. Thank God. Well, I don't know because...
I say what a shame if he was being
Well,
sent
yeah,
elsewhere.
if he did. I don't know what happened to the little boy if that did happen.
Right.
So the next man to get in contact was called Andreas.
There's actually a lot of men here.
There's a few. And he went to meet Armin. He told Armin that his fantasy was to be picked up in a cattle truck by Armin wearing rubber boots and then slaughtered like a pig.
Why would that be your fantasy?
Well, I don't know.
What is wrong with... Oh, no.
Everybody's fantasies are different.
I know, but come on. That's horrific.
That's to the next level, being wanting to be killed.
Well, exactly.
But he backed out after he had been wrapped in cling film. He was all ready to be killed, I don't know why he was wrapped in cling film, but wrapped in cling film, ready to be killed, and he backed out.
So clearly these fantasies that these men are having...
Sounds good at the time, but when it actually comes to doing it, they're like, nah, you're alright.
You know, begs the question, why are you even having a fantasy in the first place?
I have no idea. But that's it, it's fantasy, isn't it? Like, actually having a fantasy but then putting it into a practice is like two completely different things. So obviously it's all well and good in their minds and then it's happening and then, you know, they're changing their minds, which is good.
Well yeah, because that's not what you want to be happening, but...
Where are we? So he met another man called Stefan. Oh no, sorry. The next man was called Alex. Mm-hmm. He wanted to be beheaded, but Armin didn't want to do that because he said he'd be too fatty to eat. I don't know.
He's quite picky, this Armin, isn't
well, I think he knows it's probably going to be like... It's going to be something that's not going to happen very often because... You know, he's either going to not find somebody to be able to do it or he's going to get caught after doing it. So he obviously wants to make sure it's the right person, the right thing.
Right, okay.
So he then met another man called Stefan and he hung him by a meat hook in his house because he had like a slaughter room that he made.
Right.
Armin said that he would have killed him, but it was too cold in there and Stefan left.
What?
I have no idea. The next man, we'll just move on.
Okay.
The next man he met was Dirk Moller. Armin got as far as chaining Dirk to his bed and he marked his body to be chopped up, but Dirk got cold feet and he left. So there were other men that Armin spoke to. There was one who wanted to be barbecued like a chicken, and another one who wanted to be hit with a hammer.
Are you sure this happened? It just sounds very...
I watched a documentary with him actually on it and talking.
Really?
So he is real.
Oh, okay.
Because if I'd read this, I'd have been like, I don't know, like, but yeah, he's real.
Okay.
So there was another one that wanted to be hit with a hammer and then slaughtered.
I mean, I'm assuming, because like the title was like the Master Butcher, I mean, he's not been very good at doing this butchering yet, because he's not even managed to...
Well, he's about to.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
So then Armin was, he was back on the internet, and he actually saw an advert and he replied to it. The ad was posted by Bernd Jürgen Brandes. The ad was offering himself to be eaten alive.
Okay.
So Bernd, he was a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. Bernd's mum had taken her own life when he was 5. His dad had refused to talk about it, and it put a strain on their relationship. But their relationship completely broke down when Bernd came out as gay.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry. Although Bernd came across as a successful businessman, he had another side. In 1995, he picked up former sex worker Jimmy F. And Jimmy said that Bernd was really into pain and he wanted Jimmy to hurt him, particularly in the chest and genital area.
Right.
But what he really wanted Jimmy to do...
I'm looking at your face and I get the feeling this is not going to be particularly nice.
He wanted him to bite off his penis.
Okay.
So Jimmy refused. But so then he asked Jimmy to lay a knife against it. He must have liked the feel of the cold knife,
Right, okay.
So he did.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bernd begged Jimmy to cut it off.
Okay.
He offered Jimmy a decent amount of money, which I think was probably about $4,500. Plus all his computer equipment, his car, everything in his flat, if he would either bite or cut off his penis. He told Jimmy, just tell me what you want and you will get it. Like, that's how desperate he was. He was willing to give him anything he wanted to get his penis either bitten off or cut off.
I mean...
But Jimmy didn't do it.
I was going to say, but I mean, that's quite sad, actually. Like, if you're what are you, unhappy, sad, desperate, that you feel like you want to cut off a part of you?
I'm right. I don't know. I don't get what the...
There must be some mental issue going on there.
I have no idea.
Because why else would you want to do that?
I don't know. So on the 9th of March 2001, Bernd got the train to go and meet Armin. So Armin picked him up from the station and they went back to his house. And they had already agreed that Armin was going to film everything. So there's proof that it did happen. Like you were saying, you sure this guy's real? Yeah, he's real. There's
Have you
proof.
seen it?
I haven't seen it. But I was just saying. The jury got to see it.
Oh.
Or some of it.
Oh, God. Right.
So when they got to the house, Bernd went straight into the living room and got naked so that Armin could, quote, admire his dinner.
It just sounds so ridiculous.
I know, it's not funny, but,
No.
well, it's not, but it just sounds so unreal.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it actually would.
It sounds like some kind of weird sex film or something, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's not something that I'll be watching anyway.
Definitely not.
So then they went upstairs and had sex, but Bernd didn't enjoy the sex. He said to Armin, you can't do it, you're too feeble. You can't inflict the kind of pain on me that I want. Armin said Bernd wanted the ultimate high, and that was to be eaten alive. That for him would be the ultimate bliss. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm looking at your face. I don't know.
Because my question is though, is like, obviously you have never experienced that, so how would you know that that's going to be the ultimate bliss? It's it's different if you maybe had sex before and it's like, oh, it's amazing, I know what it's like. But you've never had this happen to you before, so how can you say that is ultimate bliss? Because no pain, well, to me personally, no pain is enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, like, people like pain. I get that, it is a thing, but to that extreme, that's... And as you said, how do you know? I mean, like, you can experience pain and enjoy it and do it, but, like, this kind of pain, well, you're not going to be able to do it again because it's...
Oh.
You're going to die.
Yeah, well, potentially, yeah.
Well, he wants to be eaten alive,
well,
so,
yeah.
So, like, if somebody's eating you, you're not going to survive that, are you? Unless you only eat a bit and then you get medical attention.
Oh, God.
Right. I don't know. It's obviously something that goes on, and...
Do you think it still goes on now?
What do you mean it still goes on now? This was only like 20 years ago.
Well, I know, but 20 years is a long time. I mean, you think people
Of course
actually
it does.
do this now?
Of course it does.
Oh, God.
That was only, if you think about it, this was only the start. Back in, like, as I said, like 1999, 2000, that was kind of still early days for the internet, for, you know, for it being a normal thing for everybody to have it in their house.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, like, that was it just starting probably. It's probably a million times worse now.
Oh, God. Right. Okay. Go.
Are you sure?
No, but go.
You're supposed to carry on.
Carry on.
So Bernd decided to go home because he didn't think that Armin was going to be able to do what he wanted.
Right.
But once they got to the train station, he changed his mind. So they went to a chemist and they bought sleeping pills and cough medicine because Bernard thought that if he was sleepy enough, Armin would be able to cut his penis off with a knife. So they went back to the house and about 6:30 p.m, Bernard said, right, I can't take it anymore, just cut it off. You know, he was desperate for it. He was just like, right, quick, let's go.
Okay.
So Armin tried, but the knife wasn't sharp enough.
Ooh.
So he had to go and get another one.
Right.
So the second time it happened quickly. It only took a few seconds to cut Bern's penis off.
Okay.
So Bern screamed for about 20 to 30 seconds and then said, all I can see is blackness.
Mm-hmm.
Then a few seconds later he said it didn't hurt anymore. But he was disappointed because he had hoped for more pain. I mean, what do you want?
I don't know.
You know, if that's not enough, then I don't know what would be.
No, me neither.
So, this is yuck.
Oh, God. No, right.
So Bern told Armin to cut the penis in half so they could both eat it.
Oh, my God. That's disgusting.
Stop it!
That's just awful.
Armin took the two pieces down to the kitchen and washed them. He seasoned them with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And then fried them.
Oh my God.
So,
what is this? What the hell are you telling me?
Well, you said you like gruesome
Well,
ones.
I know, but that is just extreme.
Okay. So in future, should I not get you such gruesome ones?
No, I like gruesome. Well, I like gruesomes, but it's that's just ridiculous.
So he fried them, but he said the meat was so fresh that it shriveled up in the pan and it just wasn't edible. Like they couldn't eat. So after all that, they couldn't even eat it.
Oh my God.
So about 9 p.m. Remember, this guy is still bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So about 9 p.m. Bern said he was cold. So Armin ran a hot bath for him and checked on him every 15 minutes.
Hot bath. Oh my God, I bet that would have been sore.
Well, he liked that. He liked the pain, doesn't he? So Armin lay on his bed reading a Star Trek book while Bern just was lying there in the bath, like just bleeding out.
Right.
But Armin said when Bern got in the bath, he was happy because blood was spurting from his open wound like a fountain. After about 2.5 hours, Bern shouted for Armin. He went through and Bern just wanted to tell him that he was happy. You know, he was happy. This is what he wanted. He was lying in his own blood.
Okay.
It was all good.
Right, okay.
So he just kept filling the bath with hot water. But I just kept thinking, surely if you're bleeding like that, and you were in a hot bath, would that not make you pass out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was the best thing to do.
No, but...
I mean, sometimes I feel a bit lightheaded if the bath's too hot, just without a wound, just lying in a normal bath. But then he shouted for Armin again because he wanted to get out. But when he got out, he collapsed when he got out. He
must have lost an awful lot.
Oh, he must have. So Armin took him to a bedroom, and for the next few hours, he drifted in and out of consciousness. At about 2:30 a.m, Bern stumbled into Armin's room, and he collapsed in front of the bed. Then he tried to stand up. He collapsed again, and he didn't regain consciousness. Armin said that he hesitated for a long time. He prayed and kissed Bernd, and then he picked up the knife. And remember, this is all on video.
Mm-hmm.
So he put the knife down again, then he kissed him again, he picked up the knife, he laid it to the side, he prayed, and he said at that moment he didn't know what to do. And then he prayed to God and asked for forgiveness, and then he took the knife, and after hesitating some more, he cut Bern's throat with it. So, that's, he's died now,
He
so...
didn't he didn't even eat him alive, though, did he?
No, but he's still going to eat him.
Well, maybe, but his fantasy
Well-
was to be eaten alive, and that didn't happen.
Well, in a way he did, because he ate his penis, or
Okay.
tried to eat his penis.
Well, they didn't succeed, though.
Yeah, but that wasn't his fault.
Right.
Wasn't
Can we
Armin's
just...
fault.
Let's just... Yeah, carry on.
So he knew exactly what to do next, as he had found sites on the internet on how to chop up a human. Honestly, the internet's a bad place sometimes, isn't it?
I mean, it's great in some ways, but it's very
Oh.
bad.
I mean, anyway. So he went to his slaughter room,
Mm-hmm.
and he separated Burns' He separated Burns... I just think his name's hard to say. Burns. I keep want to say Bernard, but it's Burns.
Right.
So he separated his head from his body. He hung him from the ceiling, then he removed the organs and cut him in half. He poured hot water over the two halves and washed the body. He then cut it up and put the parts in the freezer under a false bottom. So if you looked in...
I feel a bit sick.
Do you want me to stop?
No.
Would you like me to talk about something else?
No, you have to keep going now. We're in the midst of this.
So he then... Well, that's why I said don't listen to this. If anybody's eating, don't listen to it.
Well, you're a bit late now.
Well, I said that at the start. Didn't I? Did I?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah.
So if you looked in the freezer, you would just see normal food, you know, like beef and, you know, your burgers and...
Mm-hmm.
But you would never know that underneath there were pieces of human meat, like, because they had the false bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So Armin prepared a meal. He decorated the table with nice candles and he used his best dinner service. He fried a piece of Burns' back. He made some potatoes and Brussels sprouts. He said that the first bite was very strange. He said it was a feeling that he couldn't describe. And he said the flesh tasted like pork, but stronger. And I actually saw something today. I think it was another podcast. I think it was Twisted and Uncorked, I think. And they actually were talking about the fact that one of the girls had seen it on TikTok. I think that human flesh does taste like pork.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, what coincidence that I just did a cake.
But I don't really want to try.
No.
Thank you.
So he said it was really good. And if someone was to eat it without knowing, they would just think it was pork. That's how much it tastes like pork, just a little bit stronger.
Right, okay.
So 2 days after Bernd had gone to Armin's, Bernd's boyfriend, which I didn't know he had,
Right.
he reported him missing. But Bernd had erased the files on his computer, and there was nothing to link him to Armin. So, so over the next few months, Armin ate over 20 kilos of Bernd's flesh, and he also started searching the internet for another victim. And this is when the Austrian student from the start that I'd mentioned, he got in touch with him. So the student had seen the advert and he'd asked Armin how many boys he had slaughtered, and Armin replied, let's just say I've got experience. In any case, you wouldn't be the first. And that's when the student reported him to the police.
Right.
So the police searched the house for about an hour and a half, and in the kitchen they found the freezer with the false bottom, concealing what Armin... He claimed there were packets of wild pig. But there were also human remains found in the garden. There was a skull, bones and internal organs. So that's obviously where the rest of Bern's remains went. He just threw them in his garden. Which, yeah, you'd think he would dispose of them properly.
Oh yeah, exactly. But
so the police took away Armin's computer, a video camera along with numerous cassettes, some meat, 3 knives, an axe and a butcher's apron. So Armin was arrested, but the case posed a problem for the German legal system, as there's no law against cannibalism in Germany.
Oh, really?
And as they could see from the video, Bernd was a willing victim. So this is obviously something that you would see very often, like a willing victim. So due to the consensual nature of the crime, Armin was convicted of manslaughter and was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison.
Right.
However, after an appeal by the prosecution and a retrial, he was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. So only 19 minutes out of 4 hours of the video was shown to the jury, and most of the people who saw it were physically sick,
right,
and they had to go to therapy afterwards.
I feel like that would be the case for me too.
I think
just hearing about it makes me feel.
Can you imagine being on the jury and having to see that? I mean, like, what did I say? 19 minutes. I mean, 19 minutes. That's quite a lot. That's like nearly an episode of Friends or something. Like, they're usually on for about 25 minutes, something like that, aren't they? So, yeah, like to watch somebody, an actual human being, well, you know,
woefully.
We don't really need to go back into what I've just said.
No.
But yeah. And I just don't understand Bernd. Like, why would... I mean, like, he thought that it was going to be the ultimate bliss, but he basically just bled to death, and that couldn't have been pleasant. I like to bleed just...
Well, I wouldn't have thought so, but maybe, I don't know, he was happy, remember? So maybe he liked it.
Surely not towards the end, when he was going, sort of going in and out of consciousness.
We will never know.
We will never know, but I just can't see how that... I don't think he got what he wanted. I just can't see.
I just don't get it.
Maybe to start off with, he was enjoying it, but...
No, I just don't get it.
And he's ended his life, like...
But he was clearly that unhappy that he wanted to, obviously.
But was he? I mean, because what you could look at it saying, well, that was like... He wanted to die, but he wanted to die because he wanted the ultimate high. So it wasn't necessarily that he was suicidal.
No, true.
It's weird. I mean, we'll never understand it.
No, I mean, we won't ever understand it.
So that is the story of the Master Butcher, and I apologise if... I'm sure there's quite a lot of people listening to this have probably felt sick. See, I feel alright now, but when I was actually researching it, I did feel a bit sick as well. So... I apologise, but
yeah, I mean,
you know, people do like gruesome ones.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, so that was quite gruesome.
Yeah, but I'm glad it's over.
I promise my next one. Well, I'm sure there'll be death, but there won't be as gruesome details.
Well, okay.
So, thank you for listening, everybody. Yes. And if you would like to follow us on social media, we are crime_divers_pod. Why do you always sound so unsure?
I don't know, I just like sometimes I think, is that it? Is it?
You know, when I listen to other podcasts, right, like they say it so confidently, but you, every single time you're like, is that it?
I know, I'm sorry.
I have a Facebook page.
Crime Divers Podcast. Is that more confident?
You can email us at
crime_divers_pod@outlook.com.
See, that's better. You can subscribe to our YouTube,
Crime Divers Podcast.
And if you would like to support the show on Patreon, we are patreon.com/crimedivers, and you can get early access to episodes. We release 2 bonus Patreon-only episodes a month, and you can chat to us, you can, I don't know.
Interact.
You can interact. Just go and have a look. Yeah. And prices start from as little as £1 a month.
And also, don't forget to subscribe,
rate, review. Thank you. Bye.